Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Revolution F1. We're here for round number 3 here in Zandvoort. It's the European division. It was formerly D2, but now D2 and D1. Two of the same, one and the same now. We're here, like I said, stuck at Zandvoort here in the Netherlands. At the moment, we only have one car out on
Yep,
track.
hello
I'm
everyone.
joined
I got
by my lovely
Bonch
partner in
to do all
crime.
my
It is
hard
the
work
David
today.
Croft of two of us, which is
He's
Alfie.
doing everything. I'm just here, but I still get the name David Croft because I'm lazy. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting one. You can see it is a surprise it's intercondition, to be honest. It looks very wet, but intercondition weather in qualifying at the moment. Whether that will deteriorate or get better, we are yet to see. Not sure what the race is going to look like, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, with a bit of luck, usually this track throws up a lot of curveballs, especially with tyre issues that seem to be ever so present at the circuit. But I think if we find, I would say we find someone to do a track that we'll walk through with. We have Neon at turn 1, in pass going through turn 1 very nicely indeed. Turn 2, chucking it in 4th gear, very careful on the powers not to spin. Now through turn 3, very banked. Can carry a lot more speed, but at the moment it's raining, so a lot of caution going through now. Now turn 4 and 5 at the end of the first sector, 27.7 for the house. Now through turn number 6, pretty committed in the dry, but not at the moment in these wet conditions. Looks a lot wetter than actually is. I'm very surprised, as I said a moment ago, with the inters. Now through turn 7, 8. Oh, that's a huge snap of oversteer from the Haas. This is that pretty much ruined, but I suppose we'll at least see it out for now. We'll do another track guide later on. But it's coming to the end of the first sector for turn number 9. The ever so awkward right into the long left at the end of the lap. A lot of time on the table here through turn number 10. Now the last two corners, 11 and 12. 11 very easy to throw away a lap if you touch the inside curb, especially in the dry when you're pushing. Ever so easy to do now through the last heavily banked corner of turn 12 up to the line for a pretty rough lap from the Haas.
Yeah, it wasn't an ideal
it's
lap
at least the
from
time on the board.
Sure
120.8.
he can do much better later on.
They are to chase.
Yeah, definitely the quickest we'll be seeing today. Hopefully not if the weather gets better. But yeah, 120.8 at the moment. Again, Q1 doesn't matter at the moment. Only 15 people on the grid, but we're on board with LSW Legend. He's making his return after I don't know how long. Do you know?
I think last time I saw him on track was round 1 last season in F2, Div 2, sorry, Austria. Was the last time I saw Legend on a track. He has gone P1, so he hasn't lost anything in the way of speed and talent. Is currently fastest of this qualifying session, 20.0. But yeah, that's definitely my last memory, at least, of Legend. Was round 1. It was unfortunately caught out by a safety car glitch, I believe. Passed the safety car and got disqualified. So I guess that isn't a glitch. That's a little bit of lack of awareness, I suppose. But still, ever the unfortunate accident or incident for the now Alpha Tauri driver. Last time he was on track was in the other Alpha, but with Romeo on the end of it. Neon improves on his lap, 19.9. Much better going from the Haas. 5 drivers so far with laps on the board.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
one thing I've just noticed is
we have
Legend. Last time I saw him, he was using a controller, and I can clearly see right now he's not. He's using a wheel, so the pace has improved. Got worse or stayed the same from him. So, like you said, Ruxian, his teammate, is just starting a lap. Neon did heavily improve. He's only just gone up to P1 on his second run. See what Ruxian can do. I can fairly tidy now. Let's go through the bank left. I wonder if... oh, actually, not nice and tidy anymore as he spins round into the barrier. No damage, I don't think. He very light tap. Who was that? Just someone blasted past him. My style. Current championship leader, I believe. My style. I'm not very educated on this championship, which I should be. All things considered. Yeah, grab the standings for us. Yeah, so my style, I know if he's not championship leader, he's still doing
I'll get the standings up while you carry on waffling.
Yeah, so Ruxian, he's currently according to my time sheets, 22.2 seconds off. So hopefully not what he can do. Hopefully he can go a little bit quicker than that. Then as non-right Loki, he just slots into P6. He's 1.3 seconds off. I'll just grab the grab a different detail. There we go. Always Luxian goes for another spin, and this time his wing is definitely off as he spins to the left once more, and two people blast past him. So he's going to have to get out of the way for, I believe that it would be non-right Loki coming up behind him now, as my style goes fastest overall with 1:19.45 temps quicker than anyone's gone so far. You tend to see bigger gaps in the wet weather anyway, as the driver makes a lot more of a difference, and plenty more places to make up time, plenty more places to make mistakes. Sorry, see my style. I've just noticed his helmet. It looks exactly like Vettel's. So he's Joe. Yeah, I've just noticed that. Oh well. There you go. That's a better view of it. He's German though, isn't he himself? So
he's only had that helmet since round 1. You know,
seeing that.
Yeah.
So they've got neon shockers. He's currently in the pits, but he's selected the soft tyres. So he's thinking about it, but it's still raining quite hard. Yeah, not sure. I hope, hopefully he doesn't come out on track on those, because he'll be a hazard for everyone else. Jamie W. We'll just call him Jamie. I'm not even gonna say the whole Jamie. Don't recognise that name. But he slots into P2. On his second attempt at
WLMS.
Still 5 temps off my start.
We'll call him Jamie.
Have you heard of Jamie? I know he's not raced here before, but...
No, very new name to me as well, but a new name that's straight up to near the top of the timing sheet. It's 1:19.9. Marginally quicker than Neon, but still about 4 or 5 tenths off of my style, but as is the case usually with my style, that's usually the case. It has quite a big gap to everyone else. A fair bit. He's a very, very solid and quick driver as my style, but to answer the query earlier, no, he is not leading the drivers. He is P2, currently on 26 points. Ronin is our current championship leader on 34 points after back-to-back podiums, P2 and P3. For the opening races, which also means Red Bull lead the constructors 13 points over Aston Martin. Aston being quite high. Wait, hang on, how does that work? I've just noticed here, hang on. Aston Martin, both of their drivers have 0 points. Oh, okay, hang on, no, it's because Brando's there, and Brando scored for them. So there we go, that's why they're there. So there we go. Yeah. A reserve driver has more points than both of the full-time drivers. That's a little bit on the shocking side, I suppose. But yeah, Brando currently reserving, which explains why he's not here this week. As my style goes even faster, now 6 tenths is that gap to the rest of the field. But yeah, as you said a little while ago, weather like this, it really brings out the driver. You could have whatever machine you kind of want, and you can still get a decent result. If we look, maybe the example last season, George Russell at Belgium, the absolutely stellar lap from the Williams, got him a front row start and a podium in quotation marks, we'll call it, with whatever happened in that race. But back into this action, Halo has now gone P2 with a 1:19.7, so got a fair few 19s on the board now. Probably definitely going to be about the time to beat. But I could probably see when someone really turns the wick up, really starts going for it, maybe an 18, especially for someone like my style. If he takes all the fuel out, because he's fueled for a long, long time. Although now he's out of fuel. But so there we go, he's definitely done a few laps. He's done 5 laps on his current fuel load. Rabid goes P3 in the other Haas, 19.7. Mildly slower than Halo, but only 2 drivers left to settle out. Mr. Fernheimer, who is missing a front wing, and Ronin, who has only just come out on track.
Who should we ride on board with? Let's pick someone. Teddy Ruxpin, he's on a lap at the moment, I believe. He's currently sitting P8 in McLaren, the highest McLaren on the timing sheets at the moment. And I don't know if he's starting a lap, or I know he's on a lap, but whether or not it's competitive or not now, I've just seen his timing. No, he's going to go into the pit, so we won't ride with him. We'll ride with Legends on an out lap. Neon Shockers is improving at the moment, and he's coming right to the very end of his lap. He's improving by just under a tenth of a second. That was through the middle sector, so how good his last sector's been, I'm not sure as he powers down the straight. No DRS, of course, as it is wet weather, as he goes up one position into P4 with a high 19.7. Very close to his teammate, is currently coming to the end of his lap. He's just rubbed the wall a little bit on exit, but I wonder if we'll still improve. Yes, he will. Up to P2 he goes, 2 tenths off my style in P1, still untouched at the top. So it may be a sign of things to come. I see Lucas Fenn potentially on a lap, although... No, yeah, he's definitely on a lap, yep. So Lucas Fenn 16 is pushing, he's currently in 11th of a 21.5. Let's see what he can do through this middle sector. I didn't quite catch a split, I don't know if you did, Bonge, but yeah, I didn't quite catch a split through the middle sector. No, he's backed off, yeah.
Oh, he's out of the way. So that's allowing for Ronin to come through. The last driver that needs to set a lap. Current championship leader, just through virtue of being incredibly consistent. These first opening couple of rounds, rounding turn 11 and now 12 for the Red Bull. Looking pretty solid from the half a lap I've watched of this, from around about the middle sector. But 19.0, there we go. That's the new fastest time by 0.3 of a second over my style. Ever so quick is Ronin, especially at 1 lap pace. I guess Ronin is our, so maybe he's our equivalent of Mr. Saturday in this league. Ronin, ever the qualifier, but it's quite, well, I wouldn't say it's rare anymore. He's back-to-back podiums. He's leading the championship for a reason. But he's definitely done a bit of self-improvement work over the winter, in the winter months. I'll say that. It's not really winter anymore, is it? It's more spring, and it's only been a couple of weeks. But is over the little time we've been off, at least, he's done a bit of digging, I suppose, found a bit more within himself, and so far it's definitely paying off a lot. And compared to last season, definitely where he finished 4th overall in the standings. But I believe as well there was a point in the beginning he was leading by a fair bit as well. It will kind of unravel for him, but hopefully that won't be the same Ronin will be this season. Maybe Ronin 2.0 or something we now have.
Well, he was on course for a 118 something
to keep himself going, but
he was improving.
He's going to be coming back into the pits.
Over what he needed to get into those 18, so he won't complete the lap. But I have just received word from Mr. Non-Ripe Loki, and it's going to be wet at the start of the race, and then it's going to switch over to dry, which will be very interesting on a track like this. A track that is difficult to overtake in the real and virtual one. Just the one DRS, well, the 2 DRS zones, but only really one, because the second one is so short that you can't do anything in it. Yeah, and apart from that, you know, it's quite tight. The nature of the corners means they're not really overtaking opportunities. Hopefully the wet weather can make that touch easier. I'm sure we'll see a few risks being taken in terms of tyre switching over, who bites the bullet, or who pulls the trigger and goes onto the dry tyres first. Whether it'll be a good or bad decision, we have no idea. I didn't ask him for the rest of the quali weather, but I'm going to assume it's going to stay wet, considering at the moment it's not looking like it's going to let up. And in terms of in-game timing, they're right next to each other, the Q1, Q2 and Q3. 2 minutes left of this session at the moment. TRC Ronin is leading by about 2 tenths over Legend, who's actually done 4 laps, and my side behind him's done 5 laps, so definitely plenty of practice going in for those two. We've got Rabbit Mirror in the Haas, followed by Halo, Neon Shockers, Jamie, Stewart, Taylor Ruxpin, Loki, Tallow, Lucas and Ruxian, and then you've got Quenheimer, who's on an out lap. We'll ride on board with him. And he hasn't actually set a lap yet, so if it's going to be work for the remaining of the sessions, he's the person with the least amount of experience so far on this condition. So we're riding board of the Ferrari for his first flying lap. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. That would be Loki in a McLaren. A yellow flag, the spinner potentially. Oh, and as I say that, Fernheimer goes for a spin of his own, so he definitely won't be starting a lap, and he won't be getting a lap in this session as the clock hits 1 minute, and it just accelerates into the wall on purpose and DNFs, and that's a qualifying over for Fernheimer, who will be starting last.
Yeah, he's definitely cost his team a lot of money so far this qualifying session. That's 3 front wings and now a suspension.
Does he know?
He's completely ruined.
Does he know that
from the Scarlet car?
DNF with damage, you don't continue to the next session?
Happy about that at the moment. But that definitely means. Well, if he doesn't know, then he's going to get a pretty big slap in the face, or a snap to reality, or whatever you want to call it. He's going to get a pretty big wake-up call. There we go, that's the one. In the form of, he's going to be sitting here for probably the next half an hour, not doing anything. It will be cutting P15, and it will also be wet, so he's not done himself any favours to the beginning of this race, especially if what Loki says is true, where we have a wet start and then a dry end. You're going to still have to do the start of this race under at least intermediate conditions. So the cars are going to be very skatey due to the nature of the weather, I suppose. But this is definitely not an ideal track to have a wet weekend at, I suppose. But I suppose it is at least better than Div 2 last season, where we basically had no rain, with the exception of the last 2 laps of Singapore and the qualifying session of Brazil and Baku, I think. We did have wet qualifying sessions, but yeah, the closest we got rain was those last 2 laps of Singapore.
Well, check it out.
But at least we're going to have a wet race this season to watch, at least.
Go a little bit sideways.
Ever so interesting, I'd
his
say.
attempt to improve, he's currently matching his personal best at the moment. He's 6 milliseconds slower, but technically that's matching. So he's going to look to see what he can do. That's, yeah, check flags out. Most drivers actually will have it in the pits, will take the flag straight away, as non-shockers would not be improving on this lap as he goes wide on the last corner and validates, but he'll continue it anyway, and we'll see what lap time he does. It's 1:19.783, which wouldn't even have up to many positions. Slight improvement from him. But yeah, that's Q1 done. A bit of a practice session for the drivers. No knockout so far, well, apart from Poenheimer, who put it in a wall. Yeah, no one knocked out apart from him. And now we can get on to the real deal, where we'll be saying goodbye to just 3 drivers now. Is the timing supposed to go 10, 11, 12, 13, 15? Is that how it's supposed to go? Or alright, well that's how it's going for me. I don't know about you.
I don't think so.
Interesting
yeah,
stuff.
It's
Cody's, as per usual.
I did see that in the qualifying session as well. It was kind of like that pretty much most of the session.
See,
so
a lot on his previous pace since getting that wheel. Yeah, that'd be definitely interesting to see where he's fighting. Obviously, potentially drivers not going full pace just yet, as they don't really need to. And I'm intrigued to see the weather for this session as we load in and wait for everyone else. But I'm hoping it's going to be, it's drier, slightly drier, so it's dried up a little bit. Definitely into conditions now. Not as much standing water on the track. Potentially see a dry end to Q2, which would definitely be interesting. Might catch a few drivers out. Might cause a bit of a grid shake-up.
yeah, definitely. This is a session, as you said, drivers are going to start pushing, so we might see a lot more mistakes happen, especially under acceleration. It's so easy to do. Combining a track like this with weather like this, just asking a bit too much of those rear tyres, maybe not having the downforce to match as well, but definitely see a big healthy mix here, I suppose. But it is definitely drying up a little bit, so maybe only this session perhaps. So I'm gonna maybe assume that we're going to have wet conditions and then it might be a dry Q3, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's definitely a lot drier than what it was, 18 minutes ago at the beginning of Q1. So only time is going to tell for these drivers to see who will be making the most of these benefits of the conditions where the track starts to get that little bit drier, the dry line starting to form. That's also going to play a bad factor in these tyres because they're probably going to start overheating, especially if the line becomes too dry in the centres. Might see a few drivers take wet lines, although I guess they're not exactly ideal on this game. I've never known wet lines to work on any F1 game, really. But maybe just taking that little line off. What it should do is cool down the tyres, but I don't think it will do on this, and just get a bit more bite out of the traction. But we have Legend starting a qualifying lap now in the AlphaTauri, so it's right on board. A full lap with the AlphaTauri. And it's turn 1, braking just before the 50-meter board. Turning in second gear, a short shift, third and fourth, does that. Would have only short shift to third, but I guess that's much more efficient in the rain to short shift higher than through turn 2 and 3. Tiny bit wide through turn 3, but you should get the nice slingshot line out to the bank corner now. 4 and 5, this little weird, awkward uphill chicane. That ends the first sector, 27.6 in the first sector. Now through turn number 6, we're in the most treacherous of the entire track. I'd say it's turn 6, or maybe this one here, turn 7. But Legend facing those with ease. Now coming down to turn number 8. Pretty good so far. A little bit away from the apex. Might not affect him too much, given that it's raining. Maybe get a little bit more traction on the outer part. But now down to turn 9. And then 10, very deep, very hot on the brakes. Let's go down into first gear. Not exactly ideal. Then third, fourth, straight up. That's very interesting upshift tactics, I suppose, but keeps those rear wheels in check and the torque delivery down to a minimum, or less than what's needed. At least up to the line out of the turn 12, 19.6. Pretty good time, and then immediately beaten by Jamie with a 19.4. So the first 2 lap times on the board. We have Halo off the track. Stuart's gone P3 with a 19.8. It'll be Ronen next in the Red Bull. Keeps the short line. Up to the line now. 19.1. New fast lap for the Red Bull. Dislodges the other one off the front row. Ruxian goes P5 with 130.1. Might have had a bit of a mistake on his lap. We have a McLaren coming around in the last corner. It's Loki. Up to the line now for the McLaren. And it is a 21.6. A mistake in his lap as well. Neon 20.1. A little bit more time to find for him as well. Mr. Tado. No, my style will be next, actually. It was Ruxian with the tyre.
I've just seen
out,
on board Loki, who's just gone past
my style, but that's a crash.
That bank left-hander, it's on the exit of
that turn
to the
4, I
right-hand
think,
side, the left-hand side, which is what you'd expect to see from a spin. So a bit of an unusual place for him to do so. I'm not sure how he would have done that. Whether, I don't know, if he just dipped a wheel on the grass or something, but definitely an interesting place for a crash. And that's it for Ruxian then, I guess. Yeah, that's not much more to say about it, but we're right on board with Loki. He's 7.3 seconds up on his previous best, obviously, as you can tell, as he's just set a 129.6, so obviously not as quick as what you'd expect to see. He's made some sort of massive mistake, so he's coming around the last corner. Going to see a massive improvement from him, see where he can put himself on the timing sheet. He goes P7 more than 20.3, just a couple of attempts off Neon Shockers ahead of him. And Stuart no, my style come out the last corner. He's a 10th up through sector 2. See what he did through sector 3. He goes P3 over 119.4. A lot of threes in that sentence. But yeah, my style goes P3 with a 119.4. I think Legend, is he? No, Legend hasn't validated, so he would have backed off. And I think Mr. Tallow, he's 5 attempts down on his time, so he won't be making an improvement. Loki 1.5 seconds, and I think that is it for the first round of laps.
Yeah, definitely. Another little mention, I suppose. Teddy Ruxpin went P6 with 120.1. So far on course to out-qualify his teammate. I think he's done that at both the other venues. I should really. That's the thing I wanted to do. I wanted to keep track of like qualifying and race battles. I'll try and go back and get those prepared for next week. I think that'll be something nice and fun to add to these streams. Just have a little bit more like inter-team battling, I suppose. But 3 drivers left to set laps. Lucas Fenn, Rapid Mirror, and Halo, who makes his way out in the Alpine. But Ruxian out. I'm a bit puzzled as here. As you said, it's usually the left that you'd retire from in a spin at turn 3, but he's gone on the right, so I don't know if he's maybe tried to take a bit more on the right. He's dipped wheels into the grass and it's flung him that way, or if he's just carried on that far down the road. Maybe he's held it from going right left and it's flung him right.
Yeah,
that's probably why he's gone so far down.
Yeah, that's actually, he probably caught a swapper or something like that and failed to save it. Probably had it under control and then didn't. Yeah, so unfortunate for Ruxian. He'll be starting P13 unless Lucas Fenn, Rabid Mirror, or Halo do not do a lap in this session, which is unlikely for 3 drivers to not do a lap. Lucas Fenn and Halo both currently on outlaps. Rabid still in the pits. I think Lucas Fenn out of both of them. No, Halo out of both of them is going to be the first to start his first lap of the session. He's got, I think it's like his teammate ahead of him. Not much of a slipstream effect from that distance, so we'll get no helping hand on the straight as his teammate pulls out to the right hand side quite late to let him past. Yeah, I'm going to ride with Halo for his entire lap, see what kind of time he can produce, where he can sit on the timing sheets. Halo is normally, he goes very deep. I'll just cut myself off. He goes very deep and catches himself on the curb, meaning he's probably lost a massive chunk of time through Sector 1. Did you see that?
Yeah, I was on board with that. It was very, very wide indeed. 28.2. There's about 6 or 7 tenths off some of the fastest times we've seen through Sector 1. So it's a very, very weird line. Just a bit too hot on the brakes or just trying to carry a bit too much speed from the Alpine. It's just noticed as well, the rain has definitely stopped, so the track is going to start drying now. So maybe might see a few dry runs at the end of this, but I wouldn't imagine there'd be too much point unless you're in the back half of the grid, but then that will also instigate anyone at the front of the grid also then responding. So it'll be a bit of a qualifying frenzy, I suppose, in the last couple of minutes if it gets dry enough. But to be fair, Halo, all things considered, this has not been too bad of a lap for him. Aside from that turn 3 mishap, 20.2, that's still a pretty good time, given how much time he would have lost in the first sector. Lucas Fenn running the last corner now, keeps the shortest run up to the line. There's P11. The 120.7, it's 4 tenths off Loki, which would get him through to Q3. So at the moment it is Lucas Fenn, Ruxian, and at the moment Rabid. But the Haas is now on an outlap. Something I didn't actually check before this race, probably should have. Did we get a steward's report? I can't remember.
Why do you check that? I just want to point out turn 7, in my opinion, hardest corner on the track. It's a corner where if you wanna open it up and be quick, you've got to take some entrance curve. But that entrance curve, if you take just a little bit too much by millimeters, you will just go straight on and you won't be able to stop. It's a corner that has frustrated me so many times. I don't know about anyone else, but yeah, it's just that entrance curve. I've been looking out for drivers going straight onto that corner. I haven't seen anyone do it just yet, but it's almost like the quickest way to go through it is by taking the curb. But if you take the curb, you risk like losing the rear or going straight on or locking up or anything like that. It's just such a frustrating corner. I think Rabbit Mirror, he wasn't taking it at full pace on his outlap as you'd expect. He's currently on his first lap of the session, and you can. Yeah, Legend just said it catches you out, that curve. You don't expect it until you get there, but yeah, Rabbit Mirror, I'm right on board with him to see what he does. The rain has definitely stopped at the moment. You'll see a bit of drops on the onboard camera, but that is just water being kicked up, I assume, because if I switch to the outside camera, you can see that it's definitely stopped and the track is drying quite a lot. 4 minutes left to go in the session, so we could still see dries. As you see Rob Murier avoiding the curb heavily on the outside, so they lose a bit of time doing it. It's a safe option for Rabbit. He just needs the time on the board at the moment to get ahead of at least Ruxian, who is retired from the session if you didn't quite catch it. He spun it on the exit of Banks turn, what's that, turn 1? Probably turn 3. I haven't got a map handy, that's Bonge's job. But yeah, Ruxian spun it on the exit there. Spun it quite far on from the exit, but right on board with Rabbit as he goes through the would-be DRS zone if it was dry, and he sets 1:19.6, puts him in P7 and puts him safe for now. Pretty handy lap time from the Haas.
Yeah, just enough to sneak into the top 10 currently. I wouldn't, well, maybe call that comfortable, I suppose, but it depends on anyone behind is able to improve. You have the likes of Teddy Ruxpin, Neon Shockers, Loki, Tado and Lucas all behind him, but I'd definitely say that Teddy Ruxpin and Neon could pose a threat. Tado and Lucas, I don't know, maybe they'll have to find something a little bit special. Maybe the same as Loki as well, but then again, they're not too far off. Especially Tado and Loki, they're not too far off at the moment, but they're all out, getting ready to go again. Ronan's just started a lap. I think he's going to be... Oh no, it's Teddy Ruxpin. I think he's going to finish a lap, is he? He's run wide. I think it's about 2 seconds down on his delta, so he's definitely not improving. And then, yeah, he comes back into the pit. So we'll be Ronan out of turn number 3 now. This is the one where Ruxpin spun it. You can still see his tyre there for some reason. The Marshal's not exactly doing the best of jobs at clearing that up, but 3/10 Ronan has gained through the first sector alone, so that's already enough to get him an 18. 18.8 currently, if he continues this pace through that very tricky turn 7. It's looking so far so good. Nice, neat and tidy for the Red Bull. Coming through turn number 8 now. You have to just wait so long to get on the power there. It's very infuriating as a driver because you're just waiting and just feel the time bleeding away, but half a second is the time that Ronan has currently gained. He's gone very wide through turn 9, which upset the rhythm to turn 10. Just completely destroys the flow if you get one of them wrong, especially that turn 9. But turn 11, not too bad now. The last corner, not quite full throttle, otherwise we'll probably spin and crash. Across the line, still going to be a very good lap. 18.5. Some 7/10 clear of the next car being Legend, but it is definitely very dry out there at the moment.
Really good lap there. Block time there from Ronan, even if he did lose a decent chunk through that last sector, as you said, going wide. I think it was turn 10, did you say? He's got Legend. Speaking of Legend just before, he is around. I just switched to him. Had no idea he was around, wasn't paying attention to the yellow flag, switched to him, and he's pointing the wrong way. So that is definitely qualifying over for Legend. He's currently safe, and I'm assuming he's going to stay there, as a lot of people would have to go ahead of him to knock him out at the moment. Mr. Tado, the driver at risk, and as I switched to him, he's also around. I didn't even notice that. So Tado, he's not going to be improving in this session. That puts him under pressure from Loki. As I say that, Tado is knocked out of qualifying. Loki goes up to P10. He's definitely not safe. Oh, he's definitely safe, as Lucas Fenton is, I think, 18 seconds down on his time. So that is qualifying over for the people in the knockout positions. So what you see in the top 10 are the exact same people who are going to get through, but that doesn't mean that the guys up there are still not going to try and improve. Neon Shockers is 10th up through the first sector. We'll see what he can do through the second one as we ride on board with the Haas. Going to approach turn number 10. He's 2 tenths up on his time now. Found another 10th through this middle sector. See what he can do in the very short third sector, but in the wet, lots of time, lots of time to find time, even if it is a short one. As he goes around the final corner now, the banked corner, as it goes through the no DRS at the moment in the wet weather. As he crosses the line, goes for a 1:19.8, a 3/10 improvement. So that's what best he can do in this session. Halo at the moment is a 10th down through the first sector. See what he can do through the next couple. He's approaching the final sector and he's gained 3 tenths on his previous best. He's a 10th up now on a 19.5. See what he can do through the last couple of corners in the Alpine. Doesn't need to do anything as he is safe by a long margin. So approach the last corner now to see if he chooses to even finish the lap. One thing I will point out is these tyres obviously don't matter, it's wet weather, so drivers can start on whatever they want for the race now. As Halo went up to P2, demoting Legend down, beating him by a tenth, but still nowhere near what Ronan could do.
Yeah, definitely running at the moment in pretty much a league of his own right now. He's definitely the one to beat this weekend by the looks of it. But setting the pace 6/10 clear of everyone else. It's only Q2. We do have one qualifying session remaining, but I think this one is going to be a dry one. So maybe this order could shake up a lot in the coming qualifying session. But those eliminated, we'll start off with those. First is Mr. Tado, Lucas Fenn, and Ruxian. Mr. Tado and Lucas Fenn actually completing qualifying, but just not setting a fast enough lap to get inside the top 10. But Ruxian, after his incident at turn 3/4, but yeah, Ronan setting the pace, Halo second, Legend third, My Style in fourth, Jamie in fifth, Rapid Mirror in sixth, Stuart and Teddy Ruxpin seventh and eighth, Neon and Loki ninth and 10th, rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, My Style in P4, he's currently second in the championship. He had a DNF at the first round, but he did win in Mexico with fastest lap, so decent damage limitation. He's currently 8 points off Ronan, but seems to be on the back foot a little bit. Yeah, P4 and Q2, 7 tenths off his main rival. See, decent pace from Legend, or mind you, 6 tenths off, but still a decent pace from him on his return. If he is sticking around for the remaining 10 races, he might be up there as well in contention. So we're ready for Q3. Track still not fully dry. Bit of water sitting on the asphalt. Definitely gonna change, I reckon, for the rest of the session. Could be interesting. I said it last session, but I think I'm going to be right this session. It might catch a few drivers out, depending on how quickly this track is going to dry. If I get the details up, I'll see a Mercedes out on the track. It will be My Style is the only one. He's still on Inters.
It's very interesting to see. I could probably picture a little bit of a split here of some people going out on the Inters just to get a banker on the board, as we indeed have both Hasses and My Style. I believe Halo as well. But I wonder if we're going to see anyone just gamble, maybe stay in the garage and do a lap at the end of the session. Maybe a bit of a one-lap wonder, I suppose, on those dry tyres, saving a set of Inters. Because if we will have a wet start to this race, it might be worth playing dividends of keeping a set of Inters handy just for those opening few laps. Just depends on how long that rain's going to stick around for, though. But it's definitely interesting. So far, we have basically an even split. We don't now because Legend's out on track, but and so is Loki. But we have Jamie, Teddy Ruxpin, and Stuart all sitting in the pits at this current moment in time. But everyone else out on a lap. First is going to be My Style, the man P2 in this Drivers' Championship so far in the Mercedes, just behind Ronan's Red Bull, funnily enough. So you have Mercedes versus Red Bull, even in RF1. But we'll start with the former. Into turn one now goes My Style, a little bit wide through turn one, but got away with it most likely. Now through turn number two, flick it in, fifth gear down, a few more gears maybe than he'd like. Keeping third probably would have been a bit more ideal through there, just to get the traction. Tiny bit of a wiggle for the Mercedes, but it's definitely drying up pretty rapidly now. Now through turn number 6, 27.4 in the first sector. This turn 6 is pretty treacherous, but I think we'll have to concede. I will agree with you that maybe turn 7 is that bit more challenging, especially that exit curve as well. It can just drag you wide, and that'll also ruin your lap, as well as that treacherous inside curb. But turn number 8 now for My Style does that pretty neatly so far. No DRS on this second little DRS zone, which is a pretty pointless one, if you ask me. Not really a whole lot of overtaking opportunities there into turn 9. But through 9 was pretty tidy. Turn 10, just a little bit wayward on exit. And again, a little bit of a wiggle from the Mercedes on the power delivery. Now through turn 11, nice, neat and tidy. Through turn 12, going to be a bit of a lift. Now back full throttle when you get to the apex. Power it out to the line. It's a 1:19.3 from the Mercedes. Who will be next? I believe it will be Rabid Mirror.
Oh, hang on, Ronin, he's just gone for a spin. I think this is some sort of commentator's curse, even though I'm not mentioning them. I'm not even noticing the... I'm not even looking at the track map, I'm just switching through the drivers, and the moment I switch onto Ronin, he spins straight away, so Ronin has messed up his first flying lap, but well, I'll let you take over again. I wonder who is next. We've got another yellow flag on the exit. Who is that? This Jamie, Ronin's teammate, has gone for a spin at the last corner as he's weaving around on the pit entrance. His lap time was almost 4 minutes, so I'm assuming it wasn't clean. Anyway, Rabid Mirror slots into P2, and only 2 properly decent lap times on the board so far.
Yeah, at the moment it's only the... oh, there goes a third one as Legend goes P2. But yeah, it's only My Star, now Legend, and Rabid. Loki as well, putting a lap on the board. But yeah, Ryan with probably quite a big mistake with a 20.9. 21.3 from Halo. Neon is on a lap right now as well in the other Haas, as is Teddy Ruxpin. They're basically at the same part of the track, but Jamie back into the pits after his attempt at going for a lap. Stuart, the only driver to remain in the garage so far. So maybe he's trying my strategy of doing the 1 lap at the end, maybe on the dries. But that's probably what everyone else will end up doing as well. But we have Neon, who is invalidated, so it's going to be Teddy, but he is invalidated as well, so we won't have anyone setting a lap just yet. Halo is up on his time, 1.6 seconds for the Alpine, very close to the wall at the exit turn 12 there. Up to the line, goes P3, putting another decent lap on the board. Something I think I've only just noticed, is probably the most trivial little thing ever, but I've only just noticed it. On the Halo for the Haas, while they're both out on track, Rabbids has the Haas logo, and Neon's has the 1 and 1.
Yeah, I know that. It's because Neon is running Schumacher's car.
Yeah, because that's his personal sponsor.
And Rabid is running Mazepin's car. That's the reason for that. I think it'll be on their driver's suits as well. One of them will say Haas and one of them will say 1 and 1.
1 and 1, yeah.
It's either that or one of them will display Moscow University. That's also one thing that Mazepin had on his suit. So yeah, I think that's just how it is. Obviously, when you're selecting a car in the online lobby, you take over one of the real drivers' cars. So I guess it's just carrying that over into the real thing.
Yeah, I've only just noticed that, because I mean, F2 we see a lot of differences between each car. Like, you only have to look at 2021 or 2020, sorry. I guess the prime example, the UNI Virtuosis, one of them's red, one of them's yellow.
Yeah.
But I never knew that in F1, so that's why I pointed it out. It's a little bit fascinating to me, I suppose. But yeah, a little bit of a sponsor difference, I suppose, between the two. Usually you'd have 2 very identical cars.
Well, I reckon 1 and 1 probably didn't want to have much to do with Mazepin as possible.
Probably.
So that might be the reason for it. Not many drivers, I don't think there's any other drivers who were on the grid that had such negativity around them coming into the sport, but this is the virtual one. So we see a lot of drivers, they're going for more than 1 lap, isn't what you expect in the wet weather. Fuel for more laps, is build up the confidence and drop a few litres of fuel, make the car lighter, make the car faster. As you use a little bit less fuel in the wet weather, I believe, as that's why normally you underfuel for a wet race, as you just gain it back naturally, and the lighter car obviously means faster. At the moment, I just want to look at the weather, and we're speaking of it. Not really improved since the beginning of the session, with 4.5 minutes exactly to go. I wonder if we are going to see any sort of dry tyres.
I think it's going to be a huge gamble if we do. It'll probably be someone gonna... Oh no, it's not Stuart. I was about to say it's probably going to be someone like Stuart, but he's out on the intermediates currently. So maybe lost faith in the strategy call to try and stay and wait for dries, but maybe it'll be someone that has set a lap then, maybe with nothing to lose. Just maybe going for a lap at the end. But Jamie is apparently purple in the first 2 sectors. I saw his first sector, it was pretty fast. 27.0, I think, was the sector time. But I'm not sure about the middle. But that was definitely a very, very, very fast first sector. Now into the last for the Red Bull. A little bit wayward out of turn, or going into turn 12. Caught on the curb a little bit, but it shouldn't affect him too much. Up to the line, it's going to be an 18.9. Goes P1, makes it Red Bull 1-2. So Another 18.
believe,
Oh, the 18 barrier broken again, I suppose.
I believe that is only the second driver to break the 18 barrier. Ron and his teammate was the other one who dominated Q2. Not seeing that domination at the moment, as he is nowhere near the lap time that he produced at the end of the last session. He's currently, what was that, 7? Was that 7 taps, 6, 7 taps off what he did before? So I wonder if that's track condition, mistakes, inconsistency, something like that. Ronin's not really someone that is inconsistent though. He's one of the most consistent on the grid with everything, to be honest. Position, ERS, qualifying. He normally is always up there, and he's, yeah, we're not necessarily up in P1 because he hasn't won a race this season, but he's still championship leader. But yeah, he's always up there near the podium, and that's the reason why he does so well.
Yeah, Ronan is definitely one of those drivers that's always there or thereabouts. But I wonder if it's maybe because, as you said, when you cut to him at the beginning part, he'd gone for a spin. So maybe that's just knocked his confidence that little bit more. He doesn't want to push the car as much as he thought he could. At the moment, maybe he's probably going to just go for it now. Nothing to lose. It's Q3. Even if you crash, you will stay where you are unless someone goes faster than your time. But maybe he just has to work himself back up to that pace again, or maybe that was just a bit of a kind of like wonder lap. But definitely remains to be seen. Teddy Ruxpin rounding the last corner now. P7 for the McLaren, goes ahead of his teammate again. Stewart coming to the end of his lap, his first lap of the qualifying session. Maybe he's just fueled to go just a couple of laps back to back at the end. Probably be the smart thing to do as of right now, saving those intermediate tyres. But rounding the last corner for the Alpine now. P8, 120.1. He backs off immediately as well, so maybe not fueled for multiple runs. We have Neon currently selecting the softs. Maybe he's going to go for the gamble of those. Yeah, if he's going to go, he's got to go now. 135 left of the session.
Riding on board with Ronnie, I think, is the best option, as he's probably most in contention for pole. Looking at his previous pace, he goes past Legend, and probably a bit of a big distraction for him. I didn't quite catch his sector splits. I don't know if you did, but he's actually almost 2 tenths down, so we're not going to see anywhere close to what he produced in Q2, as he's going to go through the last sector, limited time to make up for his mistakes. As he enters the last couple of corners, is this going to be a provisional pole position for Ronan and see what he could do in those last few corners through the bank right hand, or as he wobbles a little bit on the exit? He's coming across the line now, and it's slower by just under half a tenth, so at maximum he could do is P2, unless he's pushing once more. There's still time, 40 seconds left in the session, and judging by the fact that he didn't back off, he is going again. A few drivers starting their final laps of the session, one of them being Legend in the, I guess, what would you say, the sister car to the Red Bull? I don't know.
Well, I guess AlphaTauri is the sister team deep down from back in the Toro Rosso days, but I guess now AlphaTauri kind of their own team, a bit more independent from Red Bull now. Gone are the days where they had literally the same car as Red Bull, but yeah, I guess still deep down they are the sister car. Neon has retired. I think he pressed retire on track, but he did go on the softs and it didn't pay out. I saw him squirming all over the place. As Legend goes for a spin.
Yep.
That's his qualifying pretty much over. Stewart 1/10 up on his time. Loki as well. I didn't quite see if he's up or not. Ronin is only slightly up on his time. He's going to have a monstrous.
He's got a DNF. Stewart. As I go on board with Stewart, he goes straight into the barrier. I believe that is turn 7. What I said before, he just went straight on, straight into the barrier, and his wheel popped off. That's the checkered flag is out. Ronin has taken it, and he has not gone for pole position. Stewart, obviously, his qualifying will be over. On board now with McLaren. Actually, quite a lot of drivers didn't make the flag, / didn't even have a go to have a lap list in the session. Loki going very wide at the penultimate corner. Now on the flat out final corner, the bank right hander, one of the most interesting corners on the calendar, I would say, is Loki comes across the line 2.5 tenths down on his previous best, and that would mean that the only one left was Legend, and he's definitely not doing any improvement on his previous best. So that is qualifying over, and that's a Red Bull 1-2, but not who we expected to be leading it.
No, definitely not. Jamie on his debut here, P1 for the Red Bull driver. Yeah, closely followed by his teammate, 2/10 difference, but Ronan just not able to match that Q2 pace. Probably going to be kicking himself a bit for that. It's ever so frustrating when you do a lap and then you just can't get near it again, especially when you're actually in the league race weekend. Halo P3, pretty impressive for the Alpine there. Maistel down in 4th. Legend upon his return P5. Definitely nothing to be slouched at. Currently P5. Rapid Mirror 6th, Teddy Ruxpin 7th, Stuart in 8th, Loki down in 9th, and then Neon, that soft tyre gamble definitely didn't pay off at the end. Just didn't dry up enough, or as much as we thought it would, but that is the top 10 for this Netherlands Grand Prix.
Yeah, so bit of a strange Q3 session. We never really had the intense final laps that you normally get. At the moment the checkered flag fell, most people had already finished or crashed. The Apollo saying in the chat, when I go on board with anyone equals death. Yeah, it happened about 4 times during that session. But here's what I was told before. Although about 30 seconds later in game, this is the day after, and like he told me, and he has told me correct. It is going to be a wet beginning of the race, followed by dry weather. So wet dry race, definitely interesting. And, no waiting around. Someone's just readied up straight away. Expecting to see a lot of drivers under fueling for the beginning of the race. Not by much. Well, it depends how quickly this dry weather is going to approach. The sky isn't necessarily that dark, although it is still raining. So probably a bit misleading for us in terms of telling when it is going to dry up. Sort out all of these overlays. Here we go. Beautiful. Perfect. So yeah, the Red Bulls lead us away. Technically, it's a Red Bull 1, 2, 3. If you are counting the, oh no, never mind. That's just a formation lap. So LSW Legend is just overtaken them. That confused me a little bit. On track, it was a 1, 2, 3, and not actually. Legend getting a bit racy at the start, going ahead 2 positions, just because he can, I guess. But yeah, so it's Jamie on pole, followed by Ronin, Halo, My Style, Legend, Rabbit, Teddy Ruxpin, Stuart, Loki, Neon, Tallow, Lucas Fenn 16, Ruxian, and Pwenheimer, who binned it on purpose in Q1, and I'm sure if he didn't realise that he wouldn't be able to go again with a damaged car, he definitely realised it now, and he's had a very boring half hour of his day, sitting watching everyone else set lap times while he just has to sit on the spectator menu, just like us. Yeah, it's a very short lap. The Red Bull ring? Where did that come from? I was about to say Red Bull. No, very short.
Probably the Red Bull 1 too. It
yeah,
is another Red Bull ring.
But very short,
there, especially with all the support for Max Verstappen around it.
Yeah, a very short lap. Even if it is wet and on the formation lap, the Red Bull's very eager as they're already approaching the penultimate corner, and everyone else is only just going through turn 10. So they'll be sitting on the grid for a long time. No backing up done by either of them. Missed opportunity. I mean, I know it doesn't really matter that much in the game, but I'm sure it matters a little bit. So we'll line up quite spread out across everyone, especially at the front. But yeah, see, actually, yeah. I mean, look at the gap. I mean, we've got Pwenheimer only just going through the final corner now, and Jamie's in his grid slot. So even if it is a short run up to the line here in Zandvoort, quite a long waiting time for the Red Bull.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have maybe slightly colder tyres, if it was to matter anyway in this game. I'm not sure it does, which is a bit disappointing. So could have maybe shot himself in the foot before the race has even begun, but just waiting for a good camera angle here before we get underway here in Zandvoort. There we go. The lights are coming on now. We have 5 sets of red lights here in Zandvoort. Lights out and away we go. It's a pretty even start from the 2 Red Bulls. Moistar's got a pretty good start. He's already alongside Halo. He's actually going to... Oh, that's a huge wiggle there for one of the Red Bulls. I think that's Ronin. Jamie still leads, but that really put off Moistar. That's back down to P4 for him. The Haas of Rabbit already up into P5. Legends lost the place. Ruxin's already gained 2. Lucas Fenn already down into last here, but... Ruxin's making absolute moves right now. He's already up into P9, battling the Haas of Neon Shockers here. Down the inside of turn 9, Neon lagging around a little bit. It's probably going to be quite off-putting for the AlphaTauri Ruxian, but it's still a Red Bull 1-2. Halo still in P3. Top 4 remaining completely unchanged, but Rabbit now up into P5. Legend in 6th, Stuart in 7th, Loki in 8th, Neon in 9th. Ruxian now up into the top 10.
Yeah, Ronan I think he was thinking of the championship right at the start. He just moved over aggressively to cut off my style in the Mercedes. He was having absolutely none of it. He even sacrificed his chance of getting up into the lead just to make sure that my style didn't overtake him. Yeah, my style made a brilliant hit, started great traction, and looking at the pace at the moment, it's still a Rebel 1-2, but Ronin definitely the quicker car. He dropped back a little bit after having to defend into turn 1, and at the moment he's just caught up a little bit through sector 2. As I say that, he drops a 10th through sector 3, so maybe even, not quite as quick as I thought. Obviously no DRS in this wet weather. Oh, as we've got a spinner, and Jamie's gone for a spin out of the last corner from the lead. He's lost his front wing, surprised that he hasn't lost his tyre, and now he's got to wait for a safe opportunity to rejoin. And oh, this is very dangerous. Is he going to get disqualified for the wrong way? No, he switches around just at the right time. But yeah, that's really unfortunate for him. Spins completely on his own, but we'll move up into the midfield. Monrap Loki putting pressure on Neon Shockers as Jamie gets a 5-second penalty for speeding the pit lane and retires manually. So he's obviously given up already, frustrated from spinning from the lead. Quite an easy thing to do in the dry here, the Zandvoort. If you enable that overtake, you will go round. Leaves the session for good measure as well. But Loki was putting a lot of pressure on Neon Shockers in the Haas, fighting for P7 at the moment, but he's just had to drop back through the first and second sector. So there was no room into turn 3 for him. So it looks like he's struggling a little bit, going deep into turn 7 and dropping off the back of Neon Shockers, and the gaps are kind of spreading out a little bit, and because of that spin, Ronin now inherits the lead. Halo is 1.3 to 1.2 seconds behind him. My style 7 tenths off that, and pretty decent. I mean, it was a decent start for everyone. I'm not seeing too many lost positions. Teddy Ruxpin down 2, my style down 1. Apart from that, everyone apart from Legend made up at least 1 position at the start. So pretty interesting one. It was clean, aggressive from some people, but nothing away from the rules. As Halo is managing that gap exactly how it was, 1.3 seconds still to the lead. So in terms of pace at the moment, Ronin and Halo are the people to beat. Mind you, my style is 6 tenths behind Halo, and he's gained a tenth through sector 3 and now in sector 1. And it's all kind of fizzled out when the gaps are starting to form quite early.
Yeah, field's definitely starting to spread a little bit earlier than maybe we would have liked. It goes very wide onto the curb there at turn 6. But just a couple of other little things I noticed at the start. Ruxian had contact with one of the Hasses. I believe it was Neon. Neon's a bit further down, which spun him back down to pretty much where he started. That explains why he is now down in P12. Went for a little spin at turn 7. But Pernheimer up into P11 already, just shy of the points. The two McLarens currently going into battle as Loki gets past his teammate. As Loki goes very deep into turn 9, that's going to allow his teammate to go back round the outside. Doesn't leave him too much room, but gets the move back done. Loki back down to where he started. Teddy only down 1 place from where he began his ventures on this race, but Ronin currently so far 1.7 seconds ahead of Halo. Halo made a pretty big mistake on lap 2. He went very wide, turn 3. That almost allowed my style to get back up his inside. But he held off very nicely, just with a bit of added boost, I suppose, from taking a very wide line pretty much onto the runoff for the Alpine. But Legend so far closing on the back of Rabid. I guess this closest battle we have on track as of this moment in time, although we do have as well Neon on Stuart. But I think Legend just edging that a little bit closer to the Hassa Rabid as it goes very wide at turn 6.
Yeah, Rabid very deep at turn 6, and that kind of puts you out to sync. There's quite a lot of corners like that here at Zandvoort, as if you mess up one, you mess up the rest. You just get rid of that rhythm, and that puts Legend right on the back of the Haas. We've got a yellow flag and a retirement. Mr. Tallow has spun out on the exit of turn 7. We said it was difficult, and that is the race over for Mr. Tallow. He was running a decent race. I believe he was P10, just behind McLaren. So he was the McLaren of Lonrot Loki. He was in the points, only scoring 1, but that means it's a full safety car. So the gap that Manoroni managed to pull, 1.6 seconds, reduces to nothing, as obviously they are going to stay out of the pits. No reason to come in just yet. Depending on when this... as I say that, my star comes into the pits. So unless he's got damage, I wonder what he's going to be doing. A pair of mediums.
That's...
So I wonder if it's going to be like dry in 5 minutes, according to their engineers. Obviously, they could know more than us, but it's still raining, I believe, on the track. So medium tyres for my style, taking a bit of an unnecessary risk, if you ask me. 4 drivers coming into the pits, as I expected none of them to. What's that? We've got more mediums from Stewart, mediums for Lucas Fenn, and more inters for Ruxian and a front wing change. So really interesting to see. I'm on board with my style and see what kind of grip he has. I know it's safety car conditions, but just by riding on board, you can get a pretty good feel. And oh, there he goes. He goes for a spin, and he's got no front wing. My style. And yeah, well, there you go. Not ready yet, even under safety car conditions. Couldn't keep his car under control. His end plate snapping off the front of his Mercedes, and I don't think any of us are surprised by that.
No, definitely not. As soon as I saw those dry tyres go on, I was pretty shocked. As shocked as you were. I think whichever way you cut that, it's not the right decision. It's definitely way too wet out there. Stewart is struggling a lot as well. My style without a front wing. Lucas as well.
I'm baffled.
He's been caught by Ruxian, and Ruxian can't pass 'cause it's safety car conditions. Neon, I'm not sure what happened there. I think Neon went for a bit of a spin, did he?
Yeah, it's so random.
Maybe.
I don't. What could lead 3 drivers to do that? Because I mean, it's not just going to be some sort of spontaneous risk from one. If 3 people do it, that's just so random. I have no idea why. I mean, especially mediums as well. I mean, if you are going to go onto dry tyres in the wet weather, you might as well go on softs, because those are the ones that are quickest. As you see, Lucas Fenn just going wide at every corner, and Ruxian having to slow down quite a lot for him. So I'm assuming Lucas has to be pushing at the moment, as he almost hits the wall. He does hit the walls.
He does hit the wall.
Ruxian. Well, Mike picks up a 5. Oh, Mike picks up a 5-second penalty. Sweeping the pit lane. Is he going to be retiring? No, he's
not at the moment. Another set of mediums and a front wing. So
he's sticking to it.
Okay.
He's sticking to it.
Well, credit to him. He is sticking to the idea. Granted, that idea is. I'll quickly get him invited.
Yeah. That's so random from. I mean, even riding aboard with Ruxian is what I was saying before. As I noticed, he's spending the pit lane. Lucas at the moment surely is pushing to a decent extent. If it means like Ruxian is, that much quicker than him, the delta must be huge at the moment. There's seeing a little bit of lag, but yeah, poor Ruxian is having to chill. We almost crashed into Lucas on the main straight as Lucas lost it. Still can't pass though, as it is still safety car conditions, and I think it's going to be a while before these guys catch up to the pack.
Lucas has gone wide, that's allowed Ruxian through, but I think Ruxian might... I don't think he's got an illegal overtake for that. I think he's got away with it.
Yeah, that's how it is in the game. If you go off track,
fine.
If you go off track on the safety car, the game allows you to pass the guy ahead. Whether it was on purpose from Lucas or not, I don't know. But,
oh, there we go. Yeah, Ruxian would have picked up one up by now. But yeah, that's incredibly puzzling. I've no idea why he's done that. I think everyone's. Oh, hang on.
Everyone.
Hang on here. Everyone's coming to the.
Oh,
pits.
was Ruxian
on
Ruxian?
Medium time. Ruxian.
He tried to overtake Neon in the pits and went straight into the pit wall. He tried to overtake in the pit lane, and he just put himself in the pit when he's out of the race. What's going on?
Okay, so what we were just saying that was completely bonkers strategy call has worked absolute wonders for this man here, Stewart. He's now leading the Netherlands Grand Prix here at RF1 Europe. But okay, so in the space of 30 odd seconds, we have everyone pit, mostly for softs. Ruxian's tried to overtake someone. He's tried to imitate Sebastian Vettel, 2016 China, and failed horribly.
And then realised that he was not a racing driver.
Now leads. Okay.
Well, he was Ronan was leading before. He's up 7th.
Yeah, this race has just gone wide open in the space of 30 seconds. This is bonkers stuff.
We were just waffling on about God knows what, and then suddenly in the top left of our screens we see pit, and the whole grid pits. Safety car in the slap. The pack isn't even bunched up yet. This is going to be chaos at the restart. We'll look ahead to Rabbit and Stewart, obviously the 2 people in the lead of this race at the moment, with Rabbit on the soft tyres. It's still a damp track technically, so I'm assuming Rabbit's advantage to be massive over Stewart. We'll see how hard the Alpine decides to defend. Obviously, he now becomes the theoretical safety car and backs up everyone to the delta, well, to the limiter given to him by the game. As we see the safety car exiting the last corner now, he'll pull over to the right and enter the pits, and that allows Stewart to go now whenever he wants. So on the restart, and away he goes, and he didn't really quite get the jump on Rabbit. Rabbit using the ARS in the slipstream. Stewart defends to the inside. He doesn't want to let him pass, giving a little bit of a squeeze. Rabbit touches the wheel in the grass, won't matter, and he's going to look to make himself around the outside, loses it a little bit, but he gets the move done with the superior grip. Got Legend behind him in P3 on the podium on his return so far on the mediums. The same amount of grip for him as to Stewart. Halo at the soft, on the soft at the moment. He's probably going to get quite frustrated behind. Teddy Ruxpin also on the soft, followed by Ronin Brenheimer, who was last. He's now P7. Loki, Neon, Shockers, Lucas, Fan, MyStar. And we've also lost 3 people from this race, and MyStar was in the pits once more.
Yeah, Loki's gone for a spin just before turn 6. That's not ideal for the McLaren. It's hard tyres for the Mercedes of MyStar with another front wing change. So it's really not gone his way. But Rabbit, now leading 1.2 seconds over Stewart. But yeah, those soft tyres definitely a lot more advantageous over those mediums. But the softs will definitely have to pit again. There's no two ways about that. You're not doing 20 odd laps on a set of soft tyres. Maybe the mediums is a bit more realistic, I suppose, but even then that's being a little bit optimistic. MyStar could definitely go to the end. He's definitely prone for a safety car. Legend is under threat from Halo here, squeezes the Alpine straight to the wall. Teddy Ruxpin as well right behind these guys, maybe trying to look for a way past, not quite there though for the McLaren. And Legend just about keeps P3 over Halo and Teddy Ruxpin. This is also going to bring Ronin and Pernheimer as Ronin sends it up the inside of turn 3 on the McLaren side by side, but the McLaren on the racing line better grip loaded through those tyres, especially as there'll probably still be a little bit of moisture out on track there. That's Legend round. Legend's gone for a spin at turn 6. He probably touched the inside curb and round he goes. That's him down into P9. He was P3. There's now a Alpine double podium. Teddy Ruxpin's been passed by Ronin. As tries to keep it down the inside of turn 8. A little bit of wheel banging though. And Ronin keeps his foot round the outside and takes position from Teddy Ruxpin. I don't think he can do too much more at this current moment in time. Maybe until DRS is enabled. That's Neon Shockers down the inside of Bernheimer there.
Going on.
This race has definitely gone from I don't even know what it's gone from or to. It's just utter excitement at the moment. Pernheimer almost loses it at turn 11, but we're going to see a little string of fast starts maybe. No, just Rabbit. 1:14.3 from the Haas, 2 seconds up the road from the two Alpines. Currently P3, P4. Ronin
DRS enabled.
DRS has now definitely been enabled, so the big rear wing letterbox can now be open to get an extra around about 18 kilometers an hour. Over everyone. I don't know what that is in miles, I don't think. I honestly can't remember. I literally heard it was 18 from the real life race today, so I'm just plopping in there hoping it's correct.
Yeah. I mean, the rearings have changed, so I don't think it's, I don't know if it's that, I mean, it sounds about right, but yeah, I mean, that mistake from Legend, I didn't see it, really, that mistake from Legend, but I wonder if that opened the door. Oh, it's, actually, I'm going to cut myself off. What I was talking about earlier, that curb at 10.7, Teddy Ruxpin just taking about a ruler's length too much, and that means he goes straight on and lost a lot of time to running. 8 tenths behind now, but yeah, I mean, I think that mistake from Legend must have forced Teddy Ruxpin to hit the brakes or something, because the straight away Ronin was down the inside, as you were talking about the spin. So, but still, I mean, they were fighting the whole of sector 2. It was a brilliant battle, a brilliant overset for Ronin, as you see Teddy Ruxpin definitely getting a warning on the exit of the last corner. But this is brilliant for Ronin in terms of the championship. The guy is second place. The guy behind him by 8 points is currently out of the points, and he is in P4. And fastest man on track, well, 1:13.7 at the moment. So track most definitely dry at the moment, as he is getting so close to Stewart so quickly. He's so much faster at the moment. Stewart obviously on the medium tyres and has a chance of not stopping again. Ronin definitely will be. So I'm sure he's going to get quite frustrated through this middle sector, as there's kind of nowhere to overtake. Unless you go for some sort of risky move down the inside. He's 3 tenths up on his personal best, so the track is improving all the time, as he's all over the place, nowhere near any of the apexes through there, but he's still quicker than the Alpine ahead of him. like you said before, Alpine double podium, good for the constructors. My style actually, fastest amount of track on the hards actually. So I wonder if that is just the track getting faster and faster, and the fact that he's in clear air as we're riding forward with running. With the DRS, he was not close enough to the back of Stewart to make a move down the inside. It would have been hard to do on that corner anyway, as it is just so narrow on the apex. But Stewart going a little bit deeper into the penultimate corner, and that allows running to get a better run. I'm sure this is going to be quite a simple move. Overtake enabled. He's got plenty of battery, as is the custom for running, as he goes down the inside of the Alpine, and he's got the move down before the braking zone. So decent move there from Ronin. He's up into the podium positions.
Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin and Pernheim having a little bit of a battle there. A little bit of contact between the two of them there. I think Pernheim comes off better though. I think it's a slight bit of a wheel bang on exit. Maybe almost would have ended up in an airplane crash between the two of them. But I did notice just while you were doing your little, what's it? Words, come on. Hurry up and work. While we're talking about Ronin, sorry, the Alpine swapped position. Stewart got let through, let through Halo, sorry. Halo on the much better tyres. I was maybe thinking he was trying to hold up Ronin a little bit. He kind of succeeded. He held him up for pretty much an entire lap, which allowed a little bit of breathing room, but that breathing room pretty much now gone, as Ronin is just absolutely flying at this current moment in time, but 3 seconds to Rabbit up the road. Currently, but those mediums not overly working at this current moment in time for Stewart. Maybe they'll come to him later in the race, but maybe with my style, although it's now been taken off him, when he set the fast lap on the hard, I was maybe thinking maybe the hards are also a good tyre to maybe consider this race. But I don't know, maybe if you're in this train battling, it's not quite the way to go. So it's probably going to be a lot of soft tyres for everyone. This race. There's no mandatory tyre rule as we started on the intermediate tyres. Ronin now getting ever so close to the Halo. He's probably going to be sizing up a move into turn 1. It's basically the only place you can overtake at this circuit. We have a little train as well forming behind Stewart of Pernheimer, Teddy Ruxpin and Neon. Lucas a little bit further back. Loki up into P9. Lucas gets on the curb there. But yeah, this DRS zone really does nothing. So unless you're right behind the car in front, it is just completely pointless. We have a spinner. That's Lucas Fenn, I believe. Yeah, in the Williams, he's gone for a spin. Turn 8. Got to be careful.
Whoa! He's got running the gravel. I saw it in the penultimate corner. I was just riding on board with him. He took way too much entrance curve, a little bit similar to George Russell last year in qualifying, but this time he kept it out of the wall, and that sort of destroyed any chance of an overtake into turn 1. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, Ronin, just made a mistake, turned in too early, caught the curb, and went straight into the gravel.
Well, that would have been a huge mistake for him. He's lost about half a second because of that. Then now Halo's got a lot more breathing space. Pernheimer gets past Stewart into I think it was into turn 2. Much better drive from the Ferrari out of turn 1 and just sailed them past the Alpine up into P4 now from starting 14th, so up 10 positions for the Ferrari driver after crashing out of qualifying. But still got this little bit of a train at the moment, but it's just, I guess, one car shorter now with Pernheimer overtaking. But Ronin, that mistake might affect a bit more confidence, again, like it did in qualifying, where I think that's still maybe what happened to him between Q2 and Q3. Just had that mistake in Q3, knocked his confidence. Maybe now it's going to take a few more laps to get another rhythm going back. Although we're still closing in, we have a spinner. That's Legend again, I think. He's definitely off. I think he's got a bit of front wing damage and gravel all over his tyres. But Halo defends to the inside, then goes back to the racing line. Perfectly legal to do. One defensive move is usually the case. And Halo used it pretty well to keep Ronin at bay for maybe at least another lap, depending on how close Ronin can get out of turn 8 at least. But it's going to be very, very hard to get a move out of turn 8 into turn 9, even with that DRS assistance. It's just a bit of a stupid DRS zone, really. But they were catching Rabid. They kind of still are. It's 2.8. Well, they definitely are now, especially about the first sector. But yeah, they're definitely starting to close in on the race leader now. So give it a few more laps. Maybe we could see this battle progress to the lead as Legend hits set of hards to the AlphaTauri, and he'll be going to pretty much the end of the race. I'd imagine on those, that 15 off 36, we have 21 laps left of this race. Well, it'll be 21 next time round when we've gone to lap 16 because of how weird F1 maths works. It will be 20 laps till the actual last lap, but then you still have to do said last lap. So it's always one more than it leads on. But Ronin really close now. Fastest lap of the race for the Red Bull down the inside of the Alpine. As Halo still tries to hang it around the outside though, and I think he's going to with the racing line there. Side by side, Ronin, no, just gets ahead.
Yeah, it was a bit of a squeeze there from Ronin, but I think nothing illegal, just aggressive racing. You were saying about confidence earlier. The lap before this one, I saw, or the lap after Ronin made that mistake, I saw he turned in to the penultimate corner and then he immediately just backed out of it, even though there wasn't any risk. So you're right about the knock of confidence, as he just didn't want to turn into the penultimate corner again. He wanted nothing to do with it. But yeah, I mean, of course, 7 tenths to Rabbit Mirror in these last few laps is definitely faster than him at the moment. Speaking, talking of ERS, I mean, we always talk about it, or I like to a lot. Saw the way, like Stewart, people like Stewart struggling at the moment. He's got a bit of a low battery. Quenheimer, he's got over half left. Ronin, the guy that normally has quite a lot, he's used a decent amount just trying to get past Halo. And I wonder if that's going to come back to hurt him, as Halo, at the moment, deploying his overtake button. He's not got much left, but he's going to try and tuck in the slipstream with Ronin. He's going to try and make a move down the inside, but he just thinks better of it. Don't be surprised there, as he was definitely close enough, but...
Teddy Ruxpin, sorry to cut you off there. Teddy Ruxpin down the inside of Stewart. Didn't quite get the move done though, but Stewart, literally no battery left for the Alpine. But that would have been a very, very bold move from Teddy Ruxpin there, but it would have definitely been an impressive one if he'd have got that move done down the inside of turn 1, but Stewart just had the much better traction. But also, I've just noticed on the stream as well, you don't have the telemetry, do you? So you can't see the actual number.
Yeah, I can put it up.
Yeah.
I put it up, but I don't
I mean, it's up to you. You know, I've got it up, so if you want to know the number, I've got it.
Yeah, if you've got it, I'll turn it off. I normally don't like running.
I was going to say, yeah, because it looks quite clean, yeah, when you have it off. So that's something I've noticed whenever you stream. It does look nice and clean. So yeah, I've got the number up just in case it's needed. But yeah, these front two have really caught Rabbit. 1.5 seconds is the gap now. They're kind of just DRS slingshotting off each other really at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's really allowing them to close in on Rabbit, or maybe Rabbit's tyres are also going in the Haas. But yeah, 1.5 seconds now, as Ronin, well, still has the fastest lap, but a little bit slower, but he would have been battling Halo, so that's definitely why. As Halo did try to move up into turn number 1, which would have put Ronin offline a little bit, just to make sure he left space. But Teddy Ruxpin on the back of Stewart again, not quite able to find a way past. Probably going to get a little bit restless here, but those softs are probably going to be past their best now, and those mediums coming into the race just that little bit more from both Stewart and Neon. Lucas as well on those mediums. And you have the back two, MyStyle and Legend, both on hards, but they are a long way out of this race currently. Definitely going to have to rely on maybe another safety car to be brought back in, but not out of the picture. We've had 3 retirements this race. 11 drivers remain, so only 1 driver will not be getting points this race weekend. But the gap now at the top is basically nothing. Ronin half a second now behind Rabbit. Rabbit is really struggling on those tyres now. I'm just trying to look at the little groove pattern there, and there is definitely a line through the middle.
That's 50%, right? That's 50%, that groove.
That's around about 50%,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I think I personally, I don't know, but that's what I've heard at the moment. Well, that's what I've heard previously.
I think, yeah, when you see the kind of grain, it's about 50%.
Yeah, yeah. Or like when you're driving,
40.
for people, he's got so much more grip at the moment. I was riding outside, on the outside camera of Ronin, and he almost slammed into the back of Rabbit. That was really close.
I was on the onboard of that. That was very scary from the onboard as well.
Ronnie's got so much more pace at the moment, but just to put it in driving terms, if you don't pay attention to the percentage, when that little orange circle comes up on your MFD, then that's normally when that groove appears. But yeah, Ronin right on the back of Rabbit at the moment. He's got so much more grip, which is really strange considering they're both on 11 lap old softs. They pitted in the exact same lap, and Ronin is not struggling at all, and neither is Halo. So looking like just faster at the moment in terms of pace. As Ronin struggling through turn 10 a little bit, and who's stabbing at the throttle a little bit, as he's got a bit more confidence now to touch that curve on the inside. He could finally do it, but he's going to deploy all the batteries, slingshot himself off the banking, and I don't think it's going to be much competition for the lead here as he pulls out to the left-hand side, and that's the move done and over with. Yep. And Halo, I think he had a pretty poor last corner as he's dropped off the back of them a little bit, but that means that Ronin, after his unlucky weather pit stops, he went from the lead down to 7th under the safety car, I think it was, and he now inherits the lead, and his championship rival, Ronin? He is Ronin. His championship rival, MyStyle, is down in P10, just scoring the 1 point. Oh, Legend!
Yeah, it's definitely not been a good day. With Legend gone for a spin, but as that happened, Neon has just got past Teddy Ruxpin with a great move out of turn 3 there, just had much better drive. Neon had to really avoid Stewart there, and I think Teddy had to avoid Neon, so could have had a little three-way crash there, but well avoided from all three drivers so far. But yeah, Ronin back up into the lead of this Grand Prix with about 17 laps left to go, so we're definitely about halfway. We have a spin that's Legend out of the last corner. He's out of the race. Safety car, yes.
Yeah, that's a second spin on the same lap from Legend. You can see him. I just rode on board with Ronin. You can see him there on the exit of the of that corner, and he drops it on the right hand and spins to the right hand side. And let's see who's going to pit. Yeah, Ronin unexpectedly pits, Rabbit pits, Halo pits, Kronheimer into the pits. Stewart, I'd assume, would also pit, although see what he actually stay out. No, he's pitting, Neon's pitting, Teddy Ruxpin's pitting, and that's it for a little while. So chaos in the pit lane once more. Has Rabbit Mirror got ahead, or is that just no? Rabbit Mirror's not got ahead. That's just the positioning in the pit lane. So Ronin keeps his lead. Rabbit in P2, Halo in P3, Kronheimer. Bear in mind he started last after his qualifying crash in P4, and looking at the tyres, some people have gone mediums and some people have gone softs.
Yeah, it's a very big split so far. So yeah, we have the top two back onto the soft tyres, and then Halo, Punheimer, Lucas Fenn, 3-second time penalty. That's the first penalty of the race. For multiple warnings, multiple off tracks, so you get 3 warnings, we call them. So you get 2 warnings, and then on the third you get a slap on the wrist in the form of a 3-second time penalty from the stewards. Yeah, front 2 on the soft tyres, very interesting. They're going to try and make those last. You're going to have about 3 laps under safety car. So it's still going to be about 13 odd laps, which is round about what they were just before they pit. So you're going to have roughly the same tyre life, maybe a tiny bit more. But then, yeah, Halo, Punheimer, Neon, Teddy Ruxpin, and Loki, although there's Stewart as well on soft, but they're all on mediums. And then, yeah, Stewart, Lucas, and MyStyle on the soft tyres. But this has definitely brought MyStyle back into the race at least, which is going to be good news for him. Not so good news for Ronin, as he might not get such a big points haul over his championship rival at this current moment in time. But then again, there is still a fair way to go in this race.
Rabbit is aggressively burning fuel. Rabbit, he's just...
Oh, he is. I've just seen that, yeah.
Redlining it. He's been doing it. Been doing it across the entire last corner, just redlining it. He's looking to get rid of weight from his car. I'm sure these soft runners will be alright, I think, in terms of the laps left. It should be okay. They'll have quite a marginal pace advantage over the medium runners behind them. So that means that after that crash, yeah, if you finish, you get points. Now, 10 drivers remaining in the race out of the 14 we started with. So MyStyle, yeah, he's in P10. He's quite far back, scoring the 1 point. Ronin, he has the fastest lap, right?
Yes, Ronin does that. Hang on, let me just check that. But I believe he does.
That's a 26-point advantage.
Yes, he does.
25-point outscoring margin. So that will increase his championship lead to a decent amount of points.
Hang on, I'll check.
And
I'll Google it. I'll Google it. I'll work it out.
Yeah, so I mean, increase the championship advantage to the point where he can miss a race, and no matter what happens, he'll still have the lead, which is always what you like. By miss a race, you can also DNF, so he's got that cushion. To MyStyle behind him, so it'll be his first win of the season if he can convert the position he's in now. second and third is his previous result. Oh my! We just see My Style crash into Lucas Fan under safety car. So My Style's now got no front wing, and safety car's in this lap. My Style was definitely not going to be gaining any more positions in this race if there's no more safety cars. Yeah, My Style. I don't think it was Lucas's fault. He had plenty of cars ahead of him. And My Style just went straight into the back. Didn't brake as much as he should have done, and he's got no front wing left. We'll move on from that, as the safety car is in this lap, and Ronan is backing them up quite aggressively and quite early to make sure he's got as much of the track to play with on the restart. See safety car now coming into the pits, and away he goes. Ronan goes very early, and he's got the jump on Rapid Mirror. And so, yeah, he'll be safe into turn one. Halo also quite far back from Rapid Mirror, and everyone's quite far back from each other. Unless you're Neon Shockers, who is looking at the back of the Ferrari of Oppenheimer. Nothing doing into turn one, both of them on mediums. And apart from that, it was single file at the restart. I don't think anyone expected Ronan to go so early.
No, definitely got everyone napping there. 1.1 seconds already. That's already broken the DRS window so far. Although it's around about fluctuating just over a second at the moment. But I'm sure Ronan on those brand new soft tyres is going to be able to pull away a little bit. But it depends on what kind of pace Rapid Mirror can respond with. But yeah, we're just getting a little bit of a train for the time being, especially with all these medium runners. So Stewart, if he really wants to make the strategy work, Halo's gone off at turn 7. He's touched that curb and it's dragged him wide down into P7 for the Alpine. But yeah, Stewart, if he wants to make this strategy work on these softs, he has to get past these medium runners, and he has to do it very quickly and very efficiently without taking any excess life out of his tyres. Not quite close enough there to make a move into turn 9 as Loki goes around the outside of Halo.
A bit of contact in P7, P8, and Loki and Halo. Halo actually moved to the right-hand side to let Loki pass. Not sure why, as there'll be no DRS on this main straight. And yeah, he let Loki past him, and then just didn't brake as much as he should have done for turn number 10. So, and he went into the back of Loki. No damage done, I don't believe. But speaking of damage, My Style, let me look at that. He's down in P10, 23.4 seconds of Lucas. He's completely out the race. From what I saw, I didn't see all of it. It was quite instantly as I switched. You know, a lot of times I'm switching to people and they're crashing, but My Style, yeah, I think it was mainly his fault. Everyone was backed up. It was the same for everyone, and he just wasn't expecting it and went into the back of Lucas. But he's getting on with it. He knows that if he finishes the race, he'll score. We'll score 8 points as it stands at the moment. Still time for a safety car, lap 24 at 36. Still a good handful of laps to go. It doesn't feel like, it feels like it's been ages, but there's still, looks like 12 laps to go. It's pretty crazy as Ronan extends his gap to 1.8 seconds. He's very much safe from the DRS. Wenheimer behind Rabbit is also 1.92 seconds now behind the Haas, so no DRS there. And looking at everyone, apart from Stewart, they're all kind of single file as My Style picks up a 3-second time penalty for speeding to add to his misery, but we'll ride on board with Stewart. DRS enabled, what would be not on this straight, then on the next tiny little straight, the DRS enabled as the location of the detection point is obviously before the line. So Stewart, nothing he could do on Teddy Ruxpin at the moment, even if he has got that soft tyre pace advantage. He's just got to look at that orange gearbox for a little bit longer, but he got a really good slingshot off the exit of turn 3, not using any overtake. He's going to look down the inside into this quick right-hander. He forces Teddy Ruxpin to go a little bit deep, but he just backs out the throttle and thinks better of the move, looking not to lose any time as My Style comes into the pits once more. What's he doing? Soft tyres, probably for the fastest lap, and a front wing change. Oh yeah, he's got no end plate.
Yeah, he spun turn 8, I believe. Yeah, he went for a bit of a spin because that was what the yellow flag in sector 2 was. But yeah, it's been a very, very torrid weekend for My Style. He's also got a penalty now, so he won't be getting a clean race point either. That only goes to the top 8 now. So Ronan at the moment is getting 27 points.
Can you check how many stops My Style has done for me, please? Because I think it's quite a lot.
Yes, I can.
I'm really curious.
7 stops.
7 stops.
As Teddy goes, or gets passed by Stewart, who tries to defend around the outside of turn 1.
Ooh.
Bit of a squeeze going on for the Alpine. And yeah, there we go. Stewart forces Teddy to yield, and up into P5 goes the Alpine. But an absolutely scintillating 7-stop strategy is Halo. And Loki gets past the Alpine. P7, so it's P7 and 6.
Here comes Halo, though.
Halo coming back at him, though. Turn 4 and 5. Not really quite able to make anything of that, though, just how the track folds in on itself. But Loki, there's a little bit of a mistake there as well. Halo is going to see that as a bit of an invite. A little bit too far behind at the moment. He's just got to try and keep with him. But Loki is all over the place at the moment. Halo thought about a move up the inside into turn 8. But no, nothing quite going just yet.
I'm disappointed.
For the Alpine, but...
I'm disappointed with the lack of overtakes into turn 5. I want there to be more. You know, you get the slingshot off turn 3, brilliant slipstream, and everyone just backs out. I mean, I know it's dangerous, but I mean, come on. Bit of fun, really. I'm disappointed.
I know it's dangerous, but yeah, just consider taking someone out of the race. Like, I mean, come on, just do it for the views.
It would only be a 5-second penalty. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah, like you said,
so, yeah, 5 seconds.
Loki was all over the place for that middle sector, wasn't he? He was nowhere near any of the apexes, nowhere near the racing line. And Halo, obviously, the nature of this track, just had to sit behind and watch and lose time.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a hard track to overtake. It really is horrendous. With these cars anyway. Hopefully that will all be fixed when we get here, either real life and or the game for next season. Hopefully we have one. Yeah, as long as those new cars do what they're intended to do, maybe we could see a lot more moves into turn 5 and 6 with the cars being able to follow.
Ooh, Loki
just that little bit better.
Loki on the grass a little bit, and that means that Halo is getting closer and closer to the back of that McLaren. I'm not sure, he didn't gain much time, I'm not sure how, but Loki was literally on the grass and Halo just didn't seem to gain anything. It doesn't look like he's pushing very much at the moment. That's actually surprising, like Halo is just not pushing.
It doesn't have a need to at the moment because he's just stuck behind Loki. He just needs to wait for a good opportunity and then make his move. But at the moment, those opportunities, they're coming just in the wrong places for Halo at this current moment in time. Maybe thought about a move inside turn 1. That would have been very audacious indeed if they'd have gone for that. But I'm just still trying to work out quickly while all this goes on. My star's getting 1 point compared to Ronin's 27 because he has fastest lap, 25 points, and a clean race point.
Oh yeah, clean race
so
point,
he'll gain 26 points then, is what he'll gain.
Yeah.
And he's currently got 8 points ahead, so he'll be 34 points clear. As it stands, will Ronin. That is a huge, huge deficit.
And a big hit for my star. I mean, he's had a 7-stopper, torrid weekend, damage, spin, I mean, you name it, it's happened to him.
It's definitely been a weekend to forget.
Still on board with
Halo.
Yeah,
he just can't find a way past his McLaren. My style takes the fastest lap, so there you go. That's 33 points then. As my style takes back fastest lap. Damage limitation now, I suppose, nothing to lose. He probably won't be getting higher than P10 unless anyone bins it or there's a very, very late safety car. Teddy Ruxpin on Stewart here, maybe into turn 1. No, Stewart covers him off very nicely indeed. Good defending from the Alpine, while the other Alpine is trying to do the opposite. He's trying to attack Loki and hasn't quite succeeded yet. Loki is just placing his car. I don't think intentionally. I think it's maybe just driving all over the place at the moment, but it's working. So whichever way you cut it, I suppose, Loki is still holding on to P7, which would still be a decent haul of points for McLaren, P6 and P7, compared to Alpine in P5 and P8. But yeah, at the moment, Ronin absolutely running all over this so far. Rabbit in P2, Penheimer third, Neon just within DRS of the Ferrari, but not quite able to make anything of it. But yeah, I guess the main battles is between 2 Alpines and 2 McLarens. Is Halo close enough here to go for a move into turn 9? I think he's going to maybe try it slightly. No, not quite. He didn't want to commit fully. I think if he did, Loki would have left him space. But not quite this time round either then for Halo.
One thing I want to point out.
Very, very frustrated.
Loki, he's now a cockpit driver, no assists, pad, Halo on. Yeah, it's just he's got like, the whole simulation shebang apart from the wheel for Loki. I mean, that might have something to do with it. Pretty impressive, to be honest with you, running cockpit, Halo, and no assists. But yeah, Loki at the moment.
Full pro career experience, really.
Yeah, Loki at the moment he's holding his own in P7. At the moment, Halo. I mean, I know this track is hard to overtake, but Halo, he might just not be that much quicker than Loki at the moment. He really is just stuck behind, and he's not gaining as much as he was previously. Whether his tyres are dropping off a little bit, bit of temperature, yeah, a bit too much tyre temperature potentially, but it's just not going Halo's way at the moment. He could be a lot further up the road, I reckon, even if he isn't that much quicker, if he can just get past Loki.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do, and then that's going to be a few more points for him. I mean, they are quite far behind the other two, their teammates, respective teammates, battling over P5, but yeah, these two battling over P7, 3 and a bit seconds, or basically 4 seconds behind. So I think either of these gaining a position, especially Halo, would really benefit Alpine, because his teammate's currently up in P5, scoring 10 points. Unless Teddy could then get past Stewart. He has had a few looks, but it's the same as Halo. He just cannot find that ultimate way through. Neon as well is really closing in on the back of Bernheimer. Just another thing to try and keep an eye on as well. But yeah, so far, Halo is still stuck behind Loki, and nothing he can really do about it right now, because, as you say, Loki might just be a bit better at this current moment in time. He's just that little bit faster, and covering off the Alpine very, very brilliantly indeed.
Yeah, let's look at something different. Let's look at Neon Chockers and Bernheimer. Battle for the podium at the moment. You've seen Neon go a little bit deep into turn 10, ruins the rhythm, and means that he probably won't be able to have a look at Bernheimer unless he has got a significant battery advantage, which he does actually. Bernheimer used a little bit of an exit, so he's going to gain a little bit more time compared to Neon, and that means that he'll have to stick behind for one more lap. And I say that because there's no way he's going to get ahead at any other point if Bernheimer just keeps it pointing in the right direction. Looking at the gaps further ahead, you've got Rabbit Mirror. He's in no man's land at the moment, 3.3 ahead, 2.4 behind, and he's on the soft tyres, so you'll start to see that gap behind him close a touch as they start to drop off a little bit. These soft runners, I mean, they'll definitely make it. It's like five laps to go, 4 laps after this one. So not much. Are you opening a drink?
No, I accidentally leant on a case.
I had to point out, because this race is so dead. I had to point out,
no,
this race is so dead. Are you trying to slowly open a can without me noticing?
No, I mean, if I was to open a can, I'll just open it. Like, nah, I'll just drink. It's fine.
This race is so unbelievably dead, so I had to point out that.
Well, I think all the excitement was kind of used up in the opening few stints, but yeah, we've got the closing stages now. No one's going for a move at the moment. Neon, no, not quite. What about Teddy? As Stewart aggressively defends, weaves right to left, and no move for him. What about Halo? No, it's a bit too far back. So another lap, another load of wasted opportunities, I suppose. Although it's probably the more sensible thing to do, sticking behind at this current moment in time, but it is just really kind of hurting these guys' races. The more they stick behind these other cars. But yeah, at the moment we have about 3.5 laps left of this race. I'll definitely say it's been an entertaining one, all things considered. Especially that opening stint where it went from wet to dry and everyone pit. It was very entertaining to watch. But Ronin, absolute league of his own so far. He was down in P7 at one point, and he's worked his way back up to P1. He's got that lead back.
Started last.
And what, Ronin?
No, I thought you were talking about Brentheimer. Sorry.
No, I was talking about Ronin.
Yeah, no. Brentheimer started last.
Yeah, Bernheimer started last, and he's currently on course for a podium. Although Neon is right behind him. Is he going to go for a move here around the outside into turn 1? Someone's finally brave enough to give it a go. Round the outside. Should have the better traction on the racing line. They're going to be side by side into turn 2. No one's willing to yield. Going into the turn 2 apex. Bernheimer goes a little bit wide. Neon's going to sneak it up the inside, up into P3 for the Haas.
What a
P3
move.
So far. That's a double Haas podium currently. And unless Bernheimer can retaliate to that, Neon, what a move from the Haas. finally someone decided to just give it a go, nothing to lose. And there you go, it's paid off marvellously. Up into P3. Teddy Ruxpin goes for a move on Stewart. Stewart has crashed. I think he's just reset to track as well.
Lovely.
There's no front wing for...
He blocks his
there's
team.
definitely no front wing.
He blocks
and he blocks his teammate as well.
Yeah. So I just wanted to point out, in terms of turn 1 overtakes, every single time we've seen the car ahead defend to the inside, and every single time the attackers just move around the outside. So the outside line proving to be so much better. So much more grip on that outside line, apparently, as every single time people have defended, and it just hasn't paid off. So that's just a note for everyone watching. If you're defending in Zandvoort, do it on the outside.
Neon, sorry to interrupt here, as Pernheimer goes down the inside and Neon and takes back P3 momentarily, or now actually takes back P3 again into the podium place for the Ferrari. But they're going to have another couple of opportunities as we have 2 laps to go now. This is the penultimate one. So Neon is really going to have to pick a moment, and he's going to stick to it. We're going to have to stick to it here if he wants to keep this P3. We have a lot of people in the pits. We had my style picks. You got a 5-second penalty for speeding. Stewart pits for a new front wing and sets off. Maybe he's going to try and get fastest lap on the last lap. And that'll give him an extra point, I suppose. But that means the 2 McLarens now P5 and 6 after all the anticlimactic battling, I suppose, they had. And now Alpine are P7 and 9. And Stewart is now also behind Lucas. He might not even be able to get him. At the last... Yeah, he's definitely run out of time, and 6 seconds. So I think Lucas Fenn's going to get P4, 4 points, sorry, for the Williams team here, splitting the 2 Alpines, when Alpine could have been running P5 and P7. So I think it's, at the moment, maybe a little one to forget for those 2. My style was ghosting there. I was about to say, I don't know if he was leaving the session or something, and just letting his AI finish the race or something. But we are now on to the last lap. Neon wasn't quite close enough. So he's really going to have to make this work in the middle sector if he wants to take back that podium. It's Ronin so far, complete world of his own, 3.4 seconds ahead of literally everyone else. I'll try and also keep an eye on this little battle between these 2. As Neon goes faster than his PB. Neither of them ever need ERS. Stewart picks up a penalty for his troubles. There goes the clean race point for him.
Yeah, it's just Neon Shockers. He's got no battery. There's nothing he can do to get ahead at Pernheimer at the moment. Pernheimer, I mean, both of them are running low, but Pernheimer, he had the gap into turn 1, and there was nothing Neon could do. He just had a terrible last sector. Yeah, not much he could do, really. But, I mean, yeah, that's definitely the last lap. 36 out of 36. Ronin has a bit of a up and down type race, troubles with the weather and pitting, but he was P7 at one point, but now he's P1. He crosses the line and wins the Dutch Grand Prix. He stretches his lead out front on my style. Ravid Mira comes home to finish P2, softs proving the fact that they work. Pernheimer, after that pretty decent comeback move on Neon Shockers, they had a decent battle all throughout the last half of the race, comes home to finish P3, Neon Shockers P4, McLaren 5-6, Alpine 7-8, and Lucas Fenn.
Lucas Fenn doesn't have a front wing.
Lucas Fenn doesn't have a front wing, yeah, I was about to say, I couldn't quite get the words out, but...
He spun out of a P8. That was a bit unfortunate for him then, but he's guaranteed P8, because
yeah.
My style has finished, because he's a lap down. So yeah, Lucas won't lose P9 as long as he keeps it on the track. So it'll only be 2 points for the Williams then, rather than 4. A little bit unfortunate for him then. But then yeah, Stewart P8 then, so the Alpines, I guess, line astern. As Stewart weaves across the line and puts his car into the wall. As Lucas Fenn then crosses the line. And that is the Dutch Grand Prix pretty much done. That was definitely an interesting race, to say the least. Mr. Pernheimer, driver of the day, I do agree with that. Yeah. Last P3.
Big for the championship.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the biggest story is that man there extends his championship lead to a very, very high number. I believe it's 33 points. Now, for the Red Bull driver, we got P2 in the first race, P3 in the second, and now he's completed all 3 spots on the podium with this latest win, with Ravid Mira picking up P2.
American 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's an all-American podium.
if you want to get the drivers in, by the way, for the.
I'm. How do I do? Oh, hang on. I've got many issues doing that because I'm part on my phone, aren't I?
I'll do it then.
So I think you might have to put the driver interview screen on, and then you'll have to do it each week.
But if we see these people joining the party, hopefully I'll switch to the driver's interview screen. And here's your driver's interviews conducted by Bonch.
Oh, thank you. I love that I get to do these each week completely.
It's the second.
Fine.
It's normally Martin Brundle's job. He goes down to the grid.
Yeah, it's usually David Croft's job to do the lights out and away we go, but I did that today, didn't I?
Yeah, but I'm just trying to be nice.
Nah, I don't believe it. You're just being lazy. Right, I might as well start with these two while they're in. Well, there's the last one anyway. There's Ryan. But so here we go then. Welcoming the podium interviewers, all from the United States of America. We have Pernheimer P3, Rabbit P2, and Ron in P1. We'll start off, as is the usual thing, with P3. Mr. Pernheimer, so close to not being here at the end of that race with a little battle with Neon. Overtook you about 3 laps left to go. But then you got him back, basically doing what he did to you. Like, thank you. I'll take a note out of your book, Sunshine. Back round the outside to turn 2, lovely move. And you come away with a P3 after starting last, crashing out of qualifying by flooring it into the pit wall. Don't know if I agree with those kind of tactics, but still a last P3, definitely nothing to be snuffed at. Gives a bit of a view of your weekend from your point of view.
Yeah, that pretty much summed it up. I was seeing red a little bit there in quali. I could not find grip in the wet. I'm awful in the wet, and for whatever reason, was able to find some grip in the wet in the beginning of the race, and felt really good the whole time. Felt like I had pace. Felt like I could overtake people. Thought I might have a chance at a better result, but went for the mediums in that second safety car restart. It seems like the softs were the way to go. I thought it was a bit too long for another set of softs, but yeah, in retrospect, I would have done that. But really cool battle with Neon. Really cool battle with a couple people. Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Good haul of points for yourself for Ferrari. 15 points going back to Maranello after this weekend. So I guess that's all things considered, a pretty good success, especially starting from the back row of the grid. So congratulations for that. Moving on now then to P2, Rabid Mirror in the Haas. So close to a double Haas podium or a Haas 2-3. But yeah, Pernheim becoming the better of those two in that battle, but still P2 from yourself. When we switched to dries, 2 sets of softs from you and from Ronan as well, using the most of those red wall tires, having the optimal grip, especially on those interchangeable conditions. Led the race for a long time, and just dropped off before that safety car where everyone else pit again and kind of reset the grid. But being caught by Ronin and I believe it was Halo at the time, or it might have been your teammate. It was definitely one of the two. But still, P2 finish. Definitely nothing to be snuffed about, but yeah, give us a bit of an overview of your weekend.
Well, I kind of struggled a little bit in quali. In Q3, I got distracted and I forgot to go out on another lap on fresh enters. It was kind of sad to start back in P6 or P7. But yeah, changing onto the first set of softs, I was kind of happy, get a lead. I passed the leader who went on mediums. I didn't know why everyone was going on mediums. I didn't understand it. I didn't think they would have enough grip, and I trusted that a 2-stop with softs would get me to the end. And then in the back end of all my stints, I just lost so much pace. So I mean, with Ronan catching me, it was kind of sad that he caught me probably 2 laps before the safety car. Maybe I could have challenged for P1 a little later, but it was a good race, everybody.
Yeah, congratulations on your P2 finish. Good haul of points going home for Haas. I believe it's 30 points going home for you guys. So congratulations for that. And then moving on to the last man. He's finally completed his podium collection. He's got a P2, a P3, and now a P1. It's TRC Ronin. Very up and down race from yourself. You got a really good start. You and your teammate both got absolutely electric starts. I was also able to keep my style at bay. He had an absolutely phenomenal one, but you guys covered him off brilliantly. Very up and down race from yourself as well. When the when it was the interchangeable conditions, when it was inters to the dries, dropped down to P7 or P8, and it looked pretty ghastly, I suppose, from there. But kept you cool, kept that level head, and even with a slight little mistake, turn 11, I believe, slight little venture into the gravel trap, but still kept your composure, kept that level head. Come away with a race win after catching Rabid and then absolutely running off into the distance. But you've extended your championship lead to, I believe, 33 points we worked out to be. So a huge buffer from yourself. So must be pretty happy with that weekend.
Yeah, no complaints really. I was hoping for pole and ended up I think binning it on the final sector I was up. So I was hoping to take pole and just get out in front of my teammate, not have to worry about the pit issue. But yeah, I was unfortunate. Was in first and was gonna go on to the mediums. And when it was time for me to get the green light and go, it wasn't working. And so I sat there slamming on the gas for a little while. So yeah, it was pretty upset to see. I think I was in 7 at that point. But yeah, just a race of attrition to come back through the field like that. And then I don't know what happened to Rabbit, but towards the end there he started to fall off and at our start, and I just got in the zone and held it in. So yeah, good race from these guys. It was clean and it was so much fun.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Very well deserved P1, and now a huge buffer to my style in the driver standings, and also really helping Red Bull in the constructors. So very good stuff from yourself there. But I believe that is it. So I'll hand back to Mr. David Croft to round out this stream.
On my side, so that has been the Dutch GP RF1 European Division. Ronin extends the championship lead to a massive margin, and yeah, so that has been myself and Bonch for your past 36 laps and qualifying, and we'll see you next week. I'm not sure what track it is. Do you know what track it is, Bonch?
It's Belgium.
Belgium. So see you next week in Belgium.